Yesterday's news that the Lakers opted to bring back Jackson Hayes had the fan base buzzing with excitement, and it's easy to see why. Hayes has shown flashes of real promise, darting down the floor with surprising agility for a big man and displaying an ever-improving touch around the rim. His chemistry with Luka Vonleh during the regular season hinted at a budding partnership that could pay dividends if the front office supplements the rotation with complementary pieces. In an ideal scenario, I'd love to see a true primary backup center added to the mix, someone like Al Horford, so that Hayes can slide into that third big role, emulating the 2020 blueprint. Back then, James Wiseman provided skilled scoring, Montrezl Harrell brought toughness and rebounding, and Javale McGee offered rim protection and athleticism. Hayes could fill that third slot, unleashing his burst and high-flying instincts when defenses least expect it, all while allowing a veteran with tight pick-and-pop instincts to marshal the second unit in more structured sets. On the financial side, the Lakers currently sit approximately $3 million under the first apron, giving them just enough wiggle room to execute a handful of maneuvers without breaching the hard cap. With 12 guaranteed contracts already on the books and 2 non-guaranteed deals in Shake Milton and Jordan Goodwin, the club has until July 20th, just over 2 weeks from now, to decide whether to guarantee Milton's salary. Goodwin's guarantee doesn't kick in until January, providing ample runway to evaluate his progress. If the front office chooses to waive either Milton or Goodwin, they'd instantly clear the roster slots, which would prove invaluable if a mid-summer trade opportunity rises. Given the Lakers' penchant for creative cap gymnastics, I wouldn't be surprised if they take on a short-term contract via the biennial exception, or mastermind a 3-team swap that brings in a veteran contributor while moving out an expiring deal. From what I'm hearing, the organization is quietly engaging on multiple fronts. There's talk of a possible 17 trade that could yield a couple of rotation players, and whispers that Phoenix might be ready to move off an extra big man if it means less congestion in their front court. Cam Whitmore's name keeps popping up in those conversations, with the Lakers potentially using their biennial exception to absorb his deal if the price is right. If it falls apart, a sweep of longer-term plans could materialize. You can imagine the front office sitting in their war room, projecting cap holds, crunching analytics on lineups with and without Justin Holiday-style spacing, and calibrating the trade machine to align with LeBron's twilight years and Bronny's developmental curve. At the same time, I suspect the Lakers haven't forgotten about 3-and-D wings like DeAnthony Melton or Bradley Beal if he hits the buyout market. Even though Beal's name has been linked to multiple contenders, LA remains in the mix, ready to pounce if the Wizards decide to part ways. If Beal or someone of that ilk becomes available, the Lakers could orchestrate a deal sending out Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent, maybe even Dalton Neck, to clear enough salary to match. That move would instantly transform the starting 3, complementing LeBron and Anthony Davis with a proven shot maker who embraces the defensive rotations required in playoff basketball. And if they landed a player with Beal's pedigree, those off-season calculations about spacing and floor balance would suddenly become a lot less theoretical. Of course, every off-season narrative should come with a cautionary footnote. Patience remains a virtue. With training camp still 3 months away, there's time for values to fluctuate and for other teams' needs to dictate trade prices. Remember how Utah's asking price for Mike Conley cratered as we drew nearer to the season opener? What started as a gauntlet of unprotected firsts eventually dwindled to a couple of mid-rounders once the Jazz faced the prospect of carrying too many veterans into camp. I see the Lakers biding their time, allowing that market correction to play out before committing to a blockbuster. Their current core: Vincent's savvy playmaking, Reeves' fearless slashing, Vonleh's steady hand, and Hayes' rising trajectory already projects as a top 5 offense in the league. If they can shore up one or two defensive weaknesses without overpaying, they'll be poised to peak right as the calendar flips to spring. One area that deserves close attention is the backup center spot. It's often the unsung position that quietly anchors a second unit, ensuring the starters rest with a semblance of continuity. Teams like Portland and Phoenix simply can't afford to roster 5 centers through the start of camp, so the supply is likely to outstrip demand as July gives way to August. That dynamic favors buyers. And if the Lakers can swoop in for someone like Nick Richards or find an Andre Drummond silhouette still available, they'd add insurance without blowing up their ledger. Hayes could then focus on running the floor in transition, while the veteran reserve provides pick-and-pop stability, box-out tenacity, and the occasional drop-off pass to keep the offense humming. As for that 17 trade, the details are still murky, but the chatter suggests it could involve sending out a combination of Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and maybe even a protected draft pick. In return, the Lakers would net a wing who fits the two-way mold, someone who can defend multiple positions and spot up from distance, if you believe the rumors. Names like Andrew Wiggins and DeAnthony Melton circulate in those meetings. A deal for Wiggins might require the Lakers to swallow his full salary and part with future assets, while a swap for Melton could be more cost-effective, trading lesser roles like Milton and Goodwin to accommodate his deal. Either way, the goal remains the same: assemble a roster that can push the tempo when necessary, clamp down in half-court defense, and slide into different rotations without sacrificing chemistry. Beyond trades, the Lakers hold tantalizing exceptions that could be deployed to sweeten any agreement. Their biennial exception, worth roughly $8 million, can absorb a mid-level salary in a multi-team exchange. That tool has been underutilized in recent years, but this summer it could serve as the wedge that pries a reluctant front office into parting with a coveted piece, even the non-taxpayer mid-level, accessible once they clear out guaranteed contracts, offers enough slippage to bring back a former Laker seeking a one-year deal. Imagine a reunion with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or Patrick Beverley, veterans whose experience and defensive acumen would plug directly into Frank Vogel's schematic. Preferences dot as the calendar inches toward October. The real work will shift. From front offices to training facilities, coaches will slap play diagrams on chalkboards, position players in defensive shells, and simulate end-of-clock scenarios that demand split-second reactions. The earlier the roster is finalized, the smoother that installation period becomes. No team wants to learn how its new pieces fit while balls are banging and the crowd is roaring in preseason games. That's why I expect the Lakers to keep a tight lid on negotiations until they've secured at least one complimentary wing and one serviceable backup big. From there, they can finalize the regular season rotation, map out blowout minutes during low-leverage stretches, and trust that the championship DNA in LA will carry them through the ebbs and flows of an 80-game grind. Still, it's worth reiterating that none of this is etched in stone. The beauty of the NBA's calendar is its unpredictability. A single buyout agreement, an unforeseen cap penalty, or a sudden coaching change in another market can send ripples through the entire league. The Lakers brass is well aware of that volatility, which is why I believe they're constructing a flexible blueprint rather than locking themselves into a rigid plan. With Hayes returning on a team-friendly deal, the payroll remains malleable enough to absorb that surprise opportunity if and when it arises. And if the offers on the table don't move the needle significantly, the organization is comfortable rolling forward with its core, banking on LeBron and AD to carry the postseason load. As these various scenarios unfold, the most intriguing subplot remains the potential emergence of role players who seize unexpected opportunities. Remember how Malik Monk sees his chance, developing into a reliable sharpshooter when given extended minutes. Hayes could be next in line if the rotation shakes out in his favor. His ability to glide through gaps in transition, finish above the rim with authority, and switch onto smaller guards in pick-and-roll coverage gives him a unique toolkit. Pair him with a veteran who can dictate half-court sets and sink open jumpers, and you've got a second unit that doesn't just survive without its starters, but poses its own matchup problems. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. The NBA rumor mill is in full swing, and the latest whispers are catching fire across the league. De'Aaron Fox to the Los Angeles Lakers, while nothing has been confirmed. Several sources close to the situation suggest that conversations may be heating up behind closed doors, sparking speculation that the dynamic Sacramento Kings guard could be donning the purple and gold next season. Fox, long considered the face of the Kings franchise, has consistently delivered high-level performances with his speed, scoring ability, and clutch mentality. But after years of middling success and early playoff exits in Sacramento, there are murmurs that the 26-year-old guard might be open to a new chapter, one that involves a brighter spotlight and championship aspiration. Enter the Lakers. LA, still building around LeBron James and Anthony Davis, is said to be exploring options to bring in a high-octane guard who can push the tempo and take some pressure off their aging core. Fox, with his blazing speed and improving shooting, fits that mold perfectly. It's no secret that the Lakers have struggled at the point guard position in recent years, And Fox could offer the long-term solution they desperately need, the potential. Pairing a Fox with LeBron and AD is already generating buzz among fans and analysts alike. Some insiders believe the Lakers could be willing to part ways with draft capital and key rotation players to land the King star, especially as they feel the championship window is narrowing. On the other hand, the Kings would be reluctant to part with their franchise cornerstone unless a major package is on the table. So far, neither team has commented publicly, but the noise is growing louder. Whether it's just off-season chatter or the early stages of something real, one thing's for sure. De'Aaron Fox to the Lakers is a rumor worth watching, with free agency and trade season unfolding. Don't be surprised if this buzz becomes the biggest storyline of the summer. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.